In today's video, I'm going to showcase the differences between a good and a bad catalyst for a day trade, essentially two catalysts that looked almost identical on the surface, but prompt different reactions from the market. We'll break it down using the recent news on previously OCTO, now trading under the ticker ORBS, and Caliber, ticker CWD. Okay, so ORBS, that's the chart right here, made their announcement on Monday, September the 8th, dropping a huge press release about raising $250 million for a Worldcoin treasury strategy. CWD, that's the lower chart here, they followed right after with their own announcement on Tuesday, September the 9th, saying that they had started a digital asset treasury strategy by purchasing Chainlink tokens. So on paper, both companies were saying the same thing. We are adding crypto to our treasury. But here's the kicker. The market treated them completely differently. CWD popped pre-market, as you can see here, but faded right from the open, giving up almost 80%, as you can see here, of the gains by the close. Now, ORBS was a completely different story. So this one, pre-market, run, if I remember correctly, something like 500%. Let's just double check that, 441. And then it pushed even further at the market open, something like 370%. As you can see here, 370% during the regular hours, absolutely blowing the roof off. And that's exactly what we're going to break down today. Why two headlines that looked almost identical had polar opposite results during the regular trading hours. This is a perfect case study of what makes a catalyst powerful for traders versus what makes it weak. All right, let's start with ORBS, that was previously traded under the ticker OCTO. The company dropped a bombshell. They announced a massive $250 million private placement to load up on Worldcoin as their primary treasury reserve asset. On top of that, they secured another $20 million strategic investment from Bitmine with backing linked to big names like Tom Lee and other prominent crypto investors. That's a total of $270 million investment into a crypto treasury strategy endorsed and backed by prominent crypto investors. Now, what are they actually betting on? Well, they are diving headfirst into Worldcoin, and Worldcoin is a project co-founded by Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI. And Worldcoin has a pretty wild mission. Essentially, in an AI-driven world, they want to prove that you're human. And how they want to do that? Well, they want to do it with their futuristic eye screening devices called ORBS. So you scan your iris and it generates a unique digital ID, and in return you can claim their token. The idea is also that down the road, the ID could be used for payments, logging into apps, and even online identity verification. In other words, it's the crypto world meeting human ID verification. And here where it gets even spicier. The company didn't just invest, they rebranded their whole ticker from OCTO to ORBS, as I mentioned previously, directly tying themselves to the Worldcoin narrative and signaling an all-in strategic pivot. The market absolutely loved it. Bold move, futuristic narrative, huge capital raise. It checked all the hype boxes, and the stock didn't just pop, it went absolutely parabolic with thousands of percents gain in a single day. That's the kind of catalyst traders dream about. Now let's look at Caliber, ticker CWD. They also announced a crypto treasury strategy, but the tone was very different. Instead of dropping a big flashy number like 250 million, which they simply didn't have, Caliber said that they made their first small test purchase of Chainlink token. The goal wasn't to shock the market, it was more about setting up the plumbing. They talked about testing custody, accounting, governance, basically making sure the system works before putting a real size. So the plan is to gradually accumulate Link over time using different funding sources like cash reserves or an equity line of credit or maybe even securities. They also mentioned generating yield through staking in the future, which makes sense. But again, nothing urgent, nothing huge. So guys, remember when it comes to Catalyst, numbers are important. Quantifiable financial numbers are important, and the bigger the number, the better. Another important point is that they didn't change their ticker, they didn't announce any massive dollar figure, they didn't signal a full business pivot. It was more of an incremental, cautious move to dip their toes into crypto. So this is why it's very important to very carefully read the announcements and take the time to pay attention to the words that they are putting in these announcements. So while the ORBS news screamed bold, risky, narrative-driven, which is perfect for traders, the CWD news came across as measured, slow, and more about long-term positioning than short-term fireworks. And that's exactly what I think anyways, why ORBS stock went vertical and CWD barely moved during the regular trading hours. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.